Good day, everyone. My name is Jetro Josh Fernandez, and together with my group mates, we're going to discuss the principles of learning. So we will explore what learning truly means, the principles that guide effective learning, and how these principles can be applied in our everyday lives. All right, so let's begin with a simple question. What is learning? So nga naman gini ang gitawag naton nga learning. And when we talk about learning, what comes to your mind? All right. So in the next slide, learning defines as a process that result in some modification in the learner's way of thinking, feeling, and doing. The characteristic of learning include the ideas of learning, such as a unitary process. It is both an individual and a social experience that is active, self-active, purposive, and can be creative and transferable. All right. So learning is a process that brings changes to the learner's way of thinking, feeling, and doing. So this process isn't just individual, but also social. So meaning you can learn not only by yourself, but also through interaction with others. So learning is self-active. Why? Because ikaw mismo ang naglihok para makakaton ka. And it is purposive. Why? It's because ara kay specific goal na gusto nimo maabot. And additionally, learning is transferable. So what do you mean by that? Okay, it means that you can apply what you've learned to other situations. For example, you're riding a bike. Okay, so riding a bike is a great example of a learning as a process. Why? Sa pagsugod pa nimo sa pagkat-on sang bike, your thinking or huna-huna is na-change. Your thinking changes as you need to understand balance and how to steer. So also your feelings or imo na feel also is na-change na siya. So at first, you might feel or ma-feel nimo nga may kahadlok ka or may excitement, but eventually you gain confidence and start enjoying your ride. Okay. Next is your actions. Why? Your actions also change from wobbling or falling at first to being able to ride smoothly without problems. Another thing, learning to ride a bike is a self-active because ikaw mismo imo kagustuhan nga mag-practice kag magtuon sang bicycle. And it can be also purposive since you have a specific goal. Gusto nimo mangkat-on para makatingko ka or makasakay ka sang bicycle. So this learning is also transferable because the skills you gain like balance and coordination is pwede mo siya magamit sa other physical activities like skateboards. And finally, the experience of learning to ride a bike can be also a social. If you have someone with you, like your parents or friends, helping you and supporting you. Okay, now let's proceed to the principles of learning. All right, the principles of learning. So it provides us with deeper understanding about how people can learn most effectively. And this principle have been discovered through research and data tested for their effectiveness and applied in practical situations. So ang mga principle nga amon ipakita sara is amin ni siya kung ano pag-improve or pag-cut-on sa mga students, whether it can be in school or it can be in work or everyday life. So these principles guide us in creating environment and methods that enhance learning outcomes. So I will only discuss the four principles. The first one is learning is an experience which occurs inside the learner and is activated by the learner. Okay, so this principle emphasizes that learning is a personal process that happens within the individual. So it means na ang pagkaton is di lang siya may tabo sa gawas, like listening to a lecture or reading a book. Instead, it occurs inside of the learner, where the mind processes, understands, and makes sense of the information activated by the learner. So means that for learning to happen, the individual must be actively involved and engaged. Dili pwede nga magpundo lang. So the learner needs to put an effort to think, reflect, and apply what they are learning. For instance, kung nagtuon ka sa math, so, ang pagkat-on is di lang mahitabo or di lang makutob dito sa pagpaminaw sang teacher, pagpamati sa teacher, but you have to engage with the material by solving problems and practicing your own. So, sa dira nga imo nga buhaton is nag-activate ka sang imo learning process, and that's when real understanding and learning happen. Okay, the second one we have learning is the discovery of the personal meaning and relevance of ideas. Okay, so this principle highlights that true learning occurs when a person discovers the personal meaning and relevance of ideas. So it's not simply enough to simply memorize the information. Ang importante is masabtan kung anhon ini pag-connect sa imo life or ngano sini ang significance para sa imo. So when you find meaning in what you're learning, it becomes more valuable and easier to remember. So this discovery process makes learning more effective because it is connected to your own experience and goals. So for example, if you're learning about history, so kalina math sa history, so it might seem like a collection of dates and events, pero kung makita nimo nga relevant nga nadto sa imong kinabuhi, like understanding how historical events shape your community or family, then that learning becomes more meaningful to you. So, you discover nga ang mga ideas, dili lang abstract, but have a direct impact on your understanding of the world and your place in it. Alright, let's proceed to the third one. We have learning. Behavioral change is a consequence of experience. People become responsible when they have really assumed responsibility. They become independent when they have experienced independent behavior. They become able when they have experienced success. They begin to feel important when they are important to somebody. They feel like someone likes them. Okay, so this principles explains that learning, particularly in terms of behavioral change, is the result of experience. So when people go through specific experiences, they start to develop corresponding behaviors. For instance, people learn responsibility by actually taking on responsibilities, and they learn independence by practicing independent actions. So this principles emphasizes that real learning happens when we directly experience something, and it shapes how we behave in the future. So for example, kung usa ka kapuya nga gihatagay responsibility sa biyay, like taking care of pet, over the time, you will learn to be responsible. So by consistently handling this responsibility, they develop a sense of accountability. In the same way, someone becomes confident and capable not just by being told they are, but experiencing success in what they do. So, ang mga naka-experience, amo adtong nakapabago or nakapag-change sa ila behavior, kay amo ang nagdya sa tinuod nga learning. Okay, let's move for the fourth one. We have learning is a cooperative and collaborative process. Cooperation fosters learning. So this principle emphasizes that learning is most effective when it happens in a collaborative and cooperative environment. So when people work together, they share ideas, help each other understand the concepts, and build on each other's strengths. So cooperation among learners create a supportive atmosphere where everyone can contribute and benefit. So by collaborating, mas maayo ang results kaysa mag-inusara lang. So ang pagtinabangay is magjagay-jay lang nga pagsabot kag mas maayo nga resulta. So pananglitan sa usa ka group project. So every member is nag-contribute sa ila or nag-share sa ila different ideas and perspective. So as they work together is nakakat-on sila gikan sa usat-usa nila nga mga ideas ug mas maayo nila nasulbad ang ila problem. So through cooperation mas lawom ang pagsabot sa usa sa matag usa sa ila kag ang grupo is nakabot nila ang nindot kag maayo nga resulta kaysa nag-inusara lang or naglain-lain sila perspective kag wa sila collaboration. And this process of collaboration not only improves learning but also builds important skills in communication and teamwork. Okay, so that concludes my part of the report. The next group member will continue to discuss the remaining topics. So thank you so much for listening.
Good day, everyone. I am Jerome C. Saison, and I am the next reporter of the group. So let's continue. So first is learning is an evolutionary process. So in other words, ang learning is gradual, meaning hinay-hinay, amat-amat, and a continuous process. So ang learning, dili siya mahitabo all at once. So para mas masabtan, here's a diagram of the process of learning. First is ignorance. So this is the stage where we are unaware of something. We do not know about it or wala tayo knowledge about that thing and we do not care about it. Sige, for example, kung ang usa ka child kay wala pa kay kung nano ang usa ka libro, then the child is in the stage of ignorance kay unaware siya or wala siya knowledge about books. The next stage is awareness. It is all about recognizing the gap in your knowledge and acknowledging that you need to learn something new. So it's the moment you realize you don't know something and you start to care about filling that knowledge gap. So, for example, first time makita sa puyasang libro, so the child might become aware of it, so ma-realize niya nga wa siya kabaw kung nano ang libro, and he might start to wonder about it. Then, the third stage is understanding. So, this is the stage where we start to understand something. So, we learn about it and we'll know and see how it works. The fourth stage is commitment. So, this is the stage where we commit to learning something. So, we decide that we want to learn more about it and we put the effort to do so. So, fifth stage is the enactment. So, this is the stage where we put our learning into action. So, we use what we have learned to do something new. For example, if nakat-un ang puya anon pagbasa sang libro, he might start reading books. So, pwede ato niya magamit na knowledge to read for pleasure, to learn new things, or even to write his own books. So, the last stage is reflection. So, this is the stage where we reflect on our learning. We think about our learnings, niya ato na i-evaluate how we will have learned it. For example, after the child done reading a book, pwede na siya mo reflect sa iya own learning. I-evaluate that niya kung diin kutob ang iya nasabtan sa libro. So next is learning is sometimes a painful process. So it highlights the cycle of getting something wrong or ma-realize naton ang aton mga mistakes and then eventually masaktulat dayon naton. So ano din sa mga cycle. So ang first cycle is unaware of getting it wrong. So this represents the initial stage wherein di ta makarealize nga nasayop na ngayon kita. So diri, we are not conscious of our errors or our mistakes. Then next is realize you have got it wrong. So this stage signifies the moment nga na ma-aware ang mga learners sa ilang mga mistakes or ma-realize nila nga they have been doing something incorrectly. Then next is getting it right. So this represents the effort nga aton gihatag to correct our mistakes and learn the right way to do things. So, and lastly is getting it right without thinking about it. So this represents the final stage wherein na-master na nato ng mga skills, ang mga lesson, or ang concept. So in this stage, we can now do it correctly without consciously thinking about it. So with that, gi-emphasize na making mistakes and that this process can be uncomfortable or sometimes painful at. But, however, it also shows that through persistence and effort, ma-overcome gayud ini sa mga students or mga learners, ini siya nga mga challenges. Okay, let's proceed. Next is, one of the richest resources of learning is the learner himself. So, it means nga ang own experiences, thoughts, and ideas ang usa ka learning kay valuable kaayo in helping them to learn. So, instead of just depending on books or teachers, pwede gamiton sang learner ang ila prior knowledge or ang ila nabaw-an nya daan and their own curiosity to better understand new things. But don't get me wrong, while ang learner mag-trust sa ila own independent knowledge, dapat mo trust lang sila sa external resources like sa teachers, sa mga books, and any other materials wherein maka-learn sila and maka-guide sa ila to grow and understand things better. So, this stage simply highlights that the learner's own mind and effort are the key part of learning. Okay, next is the process of learning is emotional as well as intellectual. So, this means that learning isn't just about understanding facts or concepts. It also involves emotions like curiosity, frustration, excitement, and motivation. So, ang aton feelings and emotions maka-affect sa aton learning. So, let's say na ang positive emotions like interest can boost engagement, while negative emotions like anxiety kay maka-affect and maka-hinder sa aton understanding. So, in simple words, ang learning is not just about acquiring knowledge but involve also ang aton emotions. So, mas makaritin kita information effectively if emotionally engaged lat ang students sa learning. Meaning the students shall also have their goal, their purpose, and connection towards learning. Now, last but not the least, the process of problem solving and learning are highly unique and individual. So, it means kada learner may ara iya kaugalingon niya way sa pag-approach ng ila learning and other challenges. Pwede based sa ila own experiences, thinking styles, and preferences. So, it's because of the fact na dili tanan effective para sa iban kay effective para sa tanan. So, it's because everyone has different strengths, perspectives, and methods of understanding. So, ini nga uniqueness between individual is what makes problem solving a personal journey wherein ang mga learners kay ila gamiton ang mga strategies na appropriate and effective para lang sa ila. So in simple words, there is no universal strategy or methods in learning na effective para gayud sa tanan learner. So I guess that's all for my part. Thank you for listening.
Hello, good morning everyone. My name is Rosal Quijano Taptasan, and today I will be discussing about the laws of learning, which is kind of associated to our main topic, which is the principle of learning. So to start with, we will be talking about Professor Edward Thorndike, as he is the one who postulated this law of learning, and he postulated it because he thought that it seemed generally acceptable on the learning process. But later, psychologists and experts have found out that learning is more complex than this law suggested. But still, Edward Thorndike's law of learning still gives guidance for teacher on how to make the classroom enjoyable and effective for students. The laws of learning, they are not necessarily stated as how Professor Thorndike first stated them. Over the years, they have been restated and supplemented, but in essence, they may still be contributed to him. The first three basic laws are the law of learning, the law of exercise, and the famous and still generally accepted is the law of effect. 3 laws that were added later due to the experiment, and it will be, my group mates will later talk about that. First law is the law of readiness. So when we talk about being ready, it means like we're well prepared, or like, yeah, we're ready. So like this law states that when a children or when a child is physically and mentally ready for it, then more likely he will absorb the class much better than the person or the student that is not well prepared. Let's say, for example, if in a child he is or she is ready, then more likely ma-absorb niya ang lesson. But in some students na like they're not physically or let's say mentally ready for it, let's say students that has depression or stress, they're more likely they will make the class or the teaching less effective because they cannot absorb the lesson well. So the second law is the law of exercise, which means like the repetition, or like, yeah, when you try to repeat things, more likely mas effective sila. Let's say, for example, if ang student is good in math, and then this student is also good in math, and then but this student kaya like mag-practice siya constantly every day, like magkuha lang ba siya, like mag-challenge lang ba siya one let's say one equation na iya isolve, and then this kay don't, because this student pag-believe siya na like whatever is like skill is innate thing for people na like even if you don't practice it, or like even if walay gradual nga like repetition, they can still learn it. But this student is nagkuhan siya like ni-believe siya na like with gradual practice mas makuha nimo or mas ma-absorb nimo ang lesson na dili na siya nimo makalimtan, like maka-recall ka still because na-sharpen na mo skill sa inang butang. And this law has these two categories, the law of use and disuse. So the law of use, it means that if you continually or like gradually do that thing, mas maayo kasi na or mas ma-sharpen mo skill. Let's say, for example, if ang student is good in English, let's say, or yeah, pero still inang mag-speak mo siya English, it's because that student wanted na like ma-practice ganina niya skill sa English. But ang law, so that's law of use, nga nag-believe siya nga if proper or like continuous doing that thing will improve your skill. While law of disuse states that without constant practice, your skills or knowledge or specific thing will weaken over time because you're not using it or you're not practicing it. Let's say, for example, if ara ka mo'y Japanese like transferee student, and then that Japanese student is continuous like attending Filipino class over time because they migrate already here. So like since it's a Filipino class and you will speak siguro Tagalog or whatsoever na mga language but not Japanese, more likely if that kid na like transfer, if dili na niya ma-use Japanese nga language, then that's the time na like mo weaken the skills sa Japanese skill. Like wala naman siya like constant practice sa inang language, or siguro like ma-weaken when it comes to vocabulary kay again it's Filipino na, and then or ma-weaken bo in terms sa inang the way they talk, like kay again na influence na sa Filipino. So the whole thing, like the law of exercise means or like states that when you continuous exercise or practice things, they will get better, or it will sharpen your skills in that particular area. But if you're not, then ma-weaken siya. So that's law of exercise. So law of effect, the last law that I will be talking to you is about if you give like constant reward or feedback sa student, then more likely mas ganahan or mas motivate ang usa ka student to do that thing over and over again. And this is my analogy, like it's the same with B.F. Skinner ganing like colonial, like atong reinforcement thing. Like ang law of effect, if you provide like positive, let's say imo siya like tagaan sang star, let's say ang student mo tagaan sang star nga may good job every time they do their task, then more likely mas maganahan pa ganit sila, or mas ganahan pa sila pag-try, or mas ma-motivate pa sila pag-try to do their homework better, kaya like they know to their self na like if ara sila good thing na mabuhat, kay ara sila rewards, or like ara sila candies, or let's say stars baka ha. While if you give naman constant consequences, let's say for example, if dili ka mag-write some assignment, if wala assignment ang kid, then imo isulti nga like they have to stand or face the wall for hours, or maybe after, or maybe like like after pa mahuman sila, there at the time makalimkod ang period, and that's the time na like tiga sila ma-motivate, because they know siguro like they will skip class na lang because they know to themselves na like they haven't done the assignment, and then there's all like kaukulang consequences gani that they will do sa school since they haven't done their assignment. So that's law of effect. So ato na mga law nag-help to sa teacher to guide para mas ma-absorb sang learners ang mga lessons or mga concept na gusto na ipa-absorb sang teacher. And there are 3 laws that were added, and that is due sa experiment kanila about sa student. But then it will be discussed by my group mates. So yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Let's proceed the law of primacy, the law of recency, the law of intensity, and the last is the law of freedom. So first is the law of primacy. It asserts that information presented first creates a strong and lasting impression. So it highlights the importance of introducing concept correctly from the beginning, as initial learning experience significantly shape understanding and retention. So this principle no nag-emphasize na siya that the first impression natong gihimo or atong na-receive are particularly strong and lasting. So in education, this means that introducing concept correctly from the start is importante kay na that because early errors or misconceptions can be difficult to correct later. So thus ensuring that foundational knowledge is accurate and clear from the beginning is essential for effective learning. Like for example sa law of primacy, in the class of history, kay if the teacher na mag-start na sa pag-provide sa clear and accurate overview of sa historical events, ang mga students are more likely to understand or mahinumduman nila correctly. So it conversely, if incorrect facts or misconceptions are introduced, first correcting this later can be challenging and confusing. Second is the law of recency. Law of recency, people are more likely to remember the most recently learned information. So this law states that people tend to remember the most recently learned information best. So sa teaching no, kani nagsuggest ni siya that reviewing key points toward the lesson, end of the lessons. So of course can be reinforced learning to and improve retention. For example, sa law of recency, during math lesson. So if the teacher reviews the key concept of practice problems at the end of the class, ang mga student are more likely to remember this concept. Like for example na i-summarize ang step by step sa solving sa mga equation at the end of the lesson kay ma-reinforce nila ang materials just covered. And third is law of intensity. The more intense or emotionally engaging the material, the more effectively it is learned and remembered. The principle here is that learning is more effective when the materials is presented in the vivid and engaging manner. intense or emotionally charged content tends to make stronger impact, making it more memorable. So, kanino, incorporating dynamic and stimulating elements or into teaching can enhance the learning experience. Like for example, sa law of intensity kay sa science class, ang teacher might use a dramatic demonstration such as ang mga chemical reaction, no? Na nag-change sang color na nag-provide sang mga visible effects to teach about chemical reactions. So, the intensity, visual impact of the demonstration make the concept more memorable and compared to a simple lecture. And the last is the law of freedom. So, learners achieve better outcomes when they have the freedom to explore and engage with the material independently. So, according to this law, no, na ang students ma-learn nila better when they have a freedom to explore and engage with the material on their own terms. So, encouraging anatomy and providing a support environment can lead to the greater intellectual and moral development. Like for example, sa law of freedom, in a creative writing course, so, gi-allow nimo ang student na mag-choose sa ilahang own topics o magsubat sa ilang own style, foster greater engagement and enthusiasm. So, when the students have a freedom to explore their interests, they are more likely to produce original work and develop their writing skills effectively. So, kaning na example nag-show siya kung how each principle can be applied to enhance teaching and learning outcomes.
That wraps up our discussion on the principles of learning. Thank you so much for your attention. We hope you gain a valuable insights that you can apply in your own learning journey. We appreciate your time. Stay safe, everyone, and have a good day.